Hello friends, and welcome to another Sheepy 7 video. From the attack I did last time, I have gotten my first revenge ever on ArtFight by, of course, Mytheria Zero, who I attacked. And here is his revenge. So I just wanted to show that really quickly, and then I will be on to my next attack. Today I will be attacking Biboenn's OC Sunna. I will now read the character description. Queen of Eden, but wasn't born into royalty. Rather grew as middle class and would later marry the prince and then murder him and his family to take over the throne, because God told her to. She awaits the judgment day, when the world will be cleansed from everything evil and impure. But until that day comes, she has to give out the justice herself. She will do anything to achieve her goals, anything for the rebirth of the world. There is not a sane bone in her body. Not in the psychopathic killer way, more of a she has lost all concept of self way. Highly religious. Cold and stoic, but not necessarily rude. Has always had a protective nature which slowly turned controlling. She doesn't have any ill intention, but has a hard time changing her beliefs if it's something she really put her mind to. She is determined to a fault. Very supportive person. She kinda sucks at comforting, but she's there for you at least. She likes gardening and martial arts, such as boxing and those that use a lot of strength and brute force. Now, I don't use this site, but there is more info listed there. And then, as always, we always look at the character permissions, and this OC does have particular permissions, so I will take a quick scan through those. You may simplify the embroidery on her outfit, hat, and belt, but don't change anything else. Any drawing of her with any kind of sun motive is deeply appreciated. And then this little example here is showing that you do not give her eye shine depending on which age she is. Now for pixel art, it's kind of hard to draw eye shine anyway. It's either one white pixel or not. But I just won't be adding that since she will be the older age. And then she is 206 centimeters tall, or 220 tall with the ears and heels included, wolf-like ears, and she's a bodybuilder, muscular and well-trained. Stern face, tries to hide her emotions most of the time. And you're allowed to draw her without her hats and gloves, but it is preferred for her to still be drawn with her hat. And then the dress she is wearing is based off of the traditional clothing of a region in Sweden, which is a pretty cool fact. I also like crystal clear instructions, so this is honestly perfect. And then we look at the global permissions, which again, also very important. No, not safe for work. Although I think when I was looking on ArtFight, it's like just not allowed in general. But I mean, I'm not going to be drawing any of that, so don't change any physical features about them. Don't ship them. And no human version or gender bend. Unless there's already a version that's drawn as such. Gore and blood, but don't go too far. Different clothes is okay. Interacting with people's OCs, as long as it isn't in a hateful way or too out of character. That seems to be all for this character. So now I will take a look at the pictures. So here we have the main reference picture, and I'll say it's very good. Really shows everything that you would need to draw her. The eyes are there. The palette. And her without her cape and with the cape. Hat and the little ears. And it looks like she has a scar on her, but her clothes cover that, so I don't have to worry about that. And she does wear heels. And then there is one other image. I believe I have seen this as a base on TikTok and on Pinterest, so it's interesting to see it here. It fits the religious theme. That is all for this character. Alright, so on to the drawing. I always start with a rough sketch from the pose I referenced. I usually find my poses on Pinterest, or sometimes I make them myself if I can't find what I'm looking for. Usually those hand poses. And on the other side of the video, I'm sketching out the background as well. Since this OC was said to like gardening as well as martial arts, I decided to draw her in a martial art type pose, which ended up being a karate pose, as well as her being in a garden area. And the owner of this OC said sun motives were good, so I put one on the ground in the dirt. Getting the legs correct to the pose was a bit difficult on this piece. However, the hands felt easy to do this time. I was very happy with how the left hand came out especially. For drawing the head, I use a square in the sketch phase, but then I later make a circle and then draw in the chin. Even though this character doesn't have ears, I put an ear just to mark where the middle of the head is so I can make sure the head looks correct. Sometimes deciding the facial features for pixel art can be hard, so I have to try a few different things until it looks right. I use a 100 by 100 canvas, but I'm not opposed to resizing it if there isn't enough room, which was the case this time. So I don't get confused when doing the line art for clothes and hair, I'll switch it to different colors and then use the alpha lock feature to fix it later to black again for the line art. It's fun while doing this because I do like seeing all the colors. The clothes were simple enough to draw, but I had considered putting her robe on, but when I tried that, it didn't fit how I wanted it to. I also had a little bit of trouble with the hat, and I think even in the end piece, it still looks a little bit out of place. The ears were difficult to get how I wanted, but I figured out if I put 3 dots at the ending point of the ears from the other side, that seemed to make it match up. I almost forgot her last bit of hair there. At this point, I turned down the opacity to better see where the lines are to get rid of the extra dots to clean my sketch for the final line art. With pixel art on Procreate, you can actually hover the pencil and see if there's a dot underneath or not, and that can be useful sometimes to see if you should erase it. Cleaning up this sketch is definitely one of my favorite parts of drawing. Now onto the coloring. The eyes were very simple this time as I didn't even need to find where to put the eye shine. I know the creator said she would have a ring of golden color in both of her eyes, but I couldn't find a way to do that with this pixel art piece. I'm not sure why Procreate does this, but when trying to find a reference image, it downsized the quality to fit the original canvas, I think. So it ended up being hard to color pick when coloring her in. I was a bit unsure how to do the belt details, but I think it came out pretty good in the end. I could have made the shoes look more like heels, like how they are in the original reference sheet, but I figured if she was practicing martial arts, she would wear flat footed shoes instead. Here I am shading in this piece. Sometimes after I'm done shading, I'll hide the shading layer to see the difference it made to the art piece. I was pretty happy with this background. I added some small greens and decided it would be even better if it was mini flowers. I decided that the sun motive should be outlined, so I finished up the piece with that and some final shading to make the character look like she's really standing there doing martial arts. I believe the owner later updated the OC description to say she'd be more likely to practice boxing or strength focused martial art. And I had tried to look up if Sweden followed any particular martial art, but I didn't really find any results on that. I had a bit of trouble with shading the sun motive, but I eventually figured out what looked best. And also from last time, I learned how to make the dirt path, so I use that same technique again. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this piece came out.